My name is Pedro, and this has been a brain fart. Okay. Hi, my name is Pedro, and I'm with Roadfinch, and you have been listening to the Co-Op. Hey, let's Co-Op. And I butchered it again.
Yeah, well, you got the last part right, but not the first part.
Okay, wait.
I'm on Team Co-Op? You're on Team Co-op.
You're on Team Co-op.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on Team Co-op,
Okay.
but it's hey, let's Co-op.
Yeah. So wait, what am I saying?
Yeah, well, you're saying your name, and then...
Pedro from
name.
Roadfinch.
Okay.
Not with, we're from, and you're with Team Co-op.
Oh.
Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Hi, how are you? Fine. Do you go to school here? Yes, I think I had a class with you.
Oh, yeah? What class?
History.
Maybe.
Yes, I think that's what it was. You don't necessarily might not remember me. You know, I like it here. It doesn't mean because I go here I'm a genius.
Okay. It's like a phone.
This is Frank and Muffin.
We were trying to get in. That's why we were stuck out there, because we hit the pound sign instead of the star key, and it was dialing off. It says hi, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm trying to get in the door. Oh, sorry, we can't help you. Shit, well, get off the dialing thing so I can redo this.
Okay, so I got stuck too because I kept entering in the code and then the pounder star.
Oh,
instead
okay.
of doing the pounder star first, and then
Yeah.
when dummy me does it like 10 times, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I was like, oh, let's try this, and put it first, and punched it in, and the door unlocked.
Yeah, because it was stuck there. It was like, do you want to dial Frank in my phone? I was like, no, but it won't clear out.
Yeah.
There's no clear button. And then, of course, like, those buttons have been there forever, so they're, like,
It's
stuck.
stick.
Yeah,
You don't know what bums are doing.
we
them
finally
tonight.
got it. Okay, and you have a Twitter?
Yes. And
Is that at Roadfinch?
Yeah, at Roadfinch.
No, there's no 2014?
No.
No, just Roadfinch.
No, it's just Roadfinch.
Or is it Road_Finch?
No, that's
No.
Instagram.
Okay, that's okay. That's Instagram. Road_Finch. All right.
Yeah.
Hello?
Does that mean have, like explosions and sound effects? Like,
No.
sound?
Yeah, you could do this is Pedro Avila from Roadfinch. You're listening to Hey, Let's Co-Op. The Hey, Let's Co-Op podcast. Something like that.
Okay. Wait, what do I say again?
Oh my God, really? Really? The Oscar, was it the Oscars?
I didn't watch any of them, so but I mean, we can.
I only saw the flub.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. That's all people are talking about is the flub. You know, snickering Gosling over there. I thought it was great. Which I thought right along with him. I'm snickering too because I think it's hilarious. Like I would totally fire that team.
Yeah.
Like literally, these votes should have been counted right away. Done. Here's the appropriate card. And was it Warren Beatty was sitting there and he's looking at it. And he's like, something's not right.
Yeah.
It's like, this can't be right. And then he shows, I forgot who the lady was.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden she just went in there, La La Land. And everyone's like, what? And everyone's doing the speech and they're up there. And, I'd like to thank all, my friends, my family, mom and dad. That's wrong. That's not the right movie. What? And then you saw like Emma Stone up there. She's just like, oh my God. Like it's no. They don't, like no. This is no Moonlight or whatever it was. Like
Oh my God.
after all of that, like I was like, man, like what do you think?
Yeah, I
what's
think it's
going on back there?
It's a great topic because it's like some of the perspective from behind the scenes and the stagehands and things like that too. Like it can get awfully dicey. Like that's being out in public when I do MC stuff.
Right.
Like, that's my biggest fear is going out there and like messing up somebody's name or just,
Yeah.
you know, screwing up and like what Steve Harvey did.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
a
the
little
flub
while
back
ago.
then.
Like, there's been a couple pretty high profile ones.
I mean, but this is the biggest one.
Yeah.
Like, this is huge. This is the Oscars. You know, everybody gets dressed up. It's a big event. You know, red carpet, all that. We get to see all the stars, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Like,
It's hilarious.
is
It's
it-
funny.
Well,
It
yeah,
seems like everybody's kind of handling it in good fun, so.
yeah, I think so.
Has anybody ever said your name kind of crazy? Like,
Well, when I had my long Greek name, yeah, nobody could say the name, so
Right.
they used to mess it up all the time. So, and I still get people that are just like Christopher K, and I'm like, I want to punch you in the face.
Christopher, huh?
Yeah, I'm like, I've never ever been called. I've never been Christopher. I never will be Christopher. I'm never gonna have a son or a nephew named Christopher. Like, it's never.
It was
been.
always Chris.
It's Christos is what my
That's-
full
yeah.
Greek name was, but I just shortened it to
Christos.
Chris. Yeah,
Yeah,
Christo.
Cristo.
okay.
Yeah, with a C, CHRIS. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, why would they even? They're just assuming at that
they're
point.
just assuming.
Yeah.
You know, it happens and you assume.
Yeah,
You
make
look
an
like
ass out of you and me. Well, yeah, you could do that too. I like that one too. Yeah. No, that's all I've been seeing on social media is just this whole thing with the Oscars. I mean, I didn't really even bother to watch. I just happened to catch that at the appropriate time, and then of course everybody else caught that. So you've got your little animated clips, and you know every story is posting. Yep, I got my smartphone right there.
Oh, the director just like holding up the winning one, or how was it?
Yeah.
No, this is not a joke. It's great.
Yeah, I think they even asked the guy who did La La Land like how he felt. I mean, well, you know, it's kind of to happen, and good for them.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
It's like, here, you're a champion. Almost
Yeah,
had it.
yeah, almost had it.
Out of that Geico commercial with the dollar on the string.
Yeah.
Oh, almost had it.
It's like a false finish in wrestling. It's like you're like, well, the ref was like 1, 2, nope,
Yeah.
he's out, no, kicked out. La La Land was supposed to kick out. They didn't. they stayed down for the 3 count.
They're like, no, I'm paying.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
No, that's what else is going on? I mean, like that's actually a good tie-in for what we were talking about, you know, over text about celebrity encounters. Like, I mean, everybody's really into this stuff. I've seen people on my Facebook like dressed up. I was like, were you going to a friend's house to watch it? I mean, like, I didn't know that was a thing. Still, maybe it is a thing.
Well, it's like the Pride Center. One of their big events that they put on every year is it's an Oscars watch party, and so they do it in various different places. But people get dressed up and their tuxes and evening gowns.
I mean, you would have thought people in Stockton were going on the red carpet, and you know,
and they were,
they were.
They do the step and repeat, and so they make it a big production.
Wow.
It's an awesome event that they put on, but. Yeah, people take it very seriously. I had a couple of friends that were actually down there, and my wife. This is gonna sound. My wife's dad's wife, the woman he married, has a sister that.
I'm already confused.
Yes, I know. So we're anyways. My wife knows a lady who works in production stuff like that. So she does a lot of these big events, and so I'd be curious to kind of pick her brain about like what happened behind the scenes. Like, with all that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Special guest.
Got delivery.
Oh wow, that smells good. for those that can't see that, pizza just came in.
Pizza's just arrived.
Yeah, and Starbucks.
Yeah.
Keeping it classy.
Yeah, always keeping it classy. No, so does that happen every year with the Pride? Does Pride do that every year?
They've done it for. Was it 5 years now? I think since they first opened. So how long have they been open? 5-6 years?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Is when they opened up. So they've been doing it every year. That's kind of their big thing. They think they did the first one at the University Plaza,
right?
And then they moved to various different locations. But it's a great event.
So where was the one this year? Was it actually here?
That's a great question.
Okay.
I don't remember.
We'll have to do some digging, but no, it kind of reminds me of the old days when there was like something huge was on. It's like you go to your neighbor's house, or if you didn't have growing up, we didn't have the space.
Yeah.
You just go to the neighborhood kid's house or something, or those old LAN parties. You get together for couch co-op or something.
Yeah, everybody sets up their computers to get their WoW on.
Yeah. Yeah, we're talking about the Oscars, Pedro. Our special guest, Pedro,
Hello.
the founder of Roadfinch.
Pedro is joining us today. I'm excited to have him in here.
He's excited too. Look at all that pizza.
It's actually permeating the room, so I apologize.
Yeah.
It's like, you got a recovering fat guy sitting downwind from the pizza. I'm like, oh, that smells good. Yeah.
JD just gave me hell for the same thing as I passed by.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, I'm hungry.
Yeah, because you can tell he's like waiting for a client, and come on. He's got this nice hot pizza for like what is it, like 2 slices, $5? You did offer him?
Yes, I did offer him.
Really?
Alfalfa's is awesome. I
It
love
is.
that place, man. It's like my go-to spot. I usually get the salads. They have the Chipotle ranch. This is real fat guy stuff right here. Dude, that Chipotle ranch on the salad.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
out of this world, man. It's so
Well, I love
good.
the sandwiches. You
Yeah.
can't go wrong with whatever, those comparable prices. I know we got Subway over here, but Alfalfa's has more choices, I think.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they'll always put a little bit extra in there. You just point and click. So.
point and click. Yeah, that's it. They got an app for that now, huh?
That's so funny.
Alfalfa should start advertising that. So, celebrity encounters from the Oscars. We're going right into it. I'm sure you have some because you've worked back behind the scenes at the arena at SMG.
Worked with entertainers. So I think probably the one that jumps out most to me is I'm on the job my first week on the job. And I'm taking over, and when I started January 2nd, goes into February, which is universally the busiest month that we have. We have Disney on Ice that comes in. That year, we also happen to have B.B. King coming in. Carrie Underwood was coming in at the end of that month, so a few years ago. But we also had a little-known sweater-loving comedian coming in named Bill Cosby.
Oh.
So Bill Cosby's show, and he had repeatedly come to Stockton because he knew the promoter. He's good friends with the promoter, would always, and this is before all the allegations were out there in public.
Right.
So his manager calls me, Cosby's manager calls me and says, it's unacceptable where ticket sales are. We need to do something about it. I said, well, we have access to get him on TV, radio, if he's willing to do that. They're like, well, I need to run this by him. Are you open for a call with Bill Cosby? I was like, sure. So, I mean, this is, honestly, 3 days maybe. It might have been my second day. But, I mean, we're talking that first week that I'm on the job. So, get on the phone, and I'm running this pitch by Bill Cosby. Like, Mr. Cosby, glad that you're coming to Stockton. Here's what I think we can do. We've already spent what money we can for the advertising and kind of what our limit's going to be. I don't think we're going to be able to throw much more money at it. But if you're available for some interviews, I know that we can get you on TV stations, radio stations, and things like that. And he's like, okay, great, make it happen. It's like, great. Well, Mr. Cosby, I just want to tell you that I'm so glad to have you come. Stop. I don't care what you do or what you say. Just get butts in the seats. Click.
Wow.
And I was like, man, Bill Cosby's like, Mr. Huxtable's a total I could not believe it. So yeah,
nice.
so I kind of like sat.
That's why I never picked up the O's tab for college.
So I sat on that one for a while. I was like, I'm not going to tell anybody about this story because I was like, maybe he's had a bad day, whatever.
Yeah,
the case,
you never know.
Whatever the case may be. But then all the allegations come out, and I'm like, oh, you know what? That guy is totally a you-know-what. I could totally see him, like slipping a little something. I mean, he's just a total jerk, and he was a jerk to our back-of-house people and things, so...
So it was a bad encounter.
It was a bad encounter with Bill Cosby. I mean, and you've got this image, like, stuck in your head of what you think. This is America's dad, right?
Yeah.
Bill Cosby, sweater-loving,
Jell-O pudding.
Temple University supporting, type of guy. And then you deal with him, and you're like, man, oh man, this guy is an absolute grade A you-know-what butthole.
Yeah.
So, I can totally see the allegations that came out afterwards. I mean, I don't know. It's when you have 30 different people corroborating the same story. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, bad celebrity encounter.
Bad celebrity encounter.
From America's Dad, of all people.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we always used to sit around and watch the Cosby Show every Thursday.
Mhm.
That's the only time my dad would let us watch TV. Oh, do you like the Cosby Show? You do now
Yeah.
for an hour. So that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
How about Brian? I know Brian has some.
I got too many. I got so many. I didn't think you were going to use this topic, really. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Pick it on the spot. Boom.
Yeah.
Hot seat.
The most recent one, I could start with that, was Paul Mooney.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney, Ask a Black Guy on the Chappelle Show.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond that, he wrote a lot of Richard Pryor's material and just a lot of comedians. But I was with a band in the Bay Area in Emeryville, and we were going to go put our name on a list to be recorded by the students. So
Yeah.
it's free, And I noticed the guy sitting down with a little beanie cap on, a little red cap, and he looked just like Paul Mooney. I was like, "You look like Paul Mooney." And he looked up at me and he goes, "Well, that's exactly who the fuck I am." And I was like, "No!" And it's like everybody in the lobby is kind of like taking notice of it. And this guy starts asking him, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, I'm coming to see a friend. She works here, and I have a couple shows here in the Bay Area lined up at the Punchline." And the guy with this little white hippie kid was like, "I'm going to come heckle you." And he's like, "You ain't going to be heckling nobody." Right? I mean, if you ever heard his voice, the way he talks,
Yeah, yeah.
it was
Oh,
dead
yeah.
on. I was just like, "It's Paul Mooney." Right
Yeah,
there.
that
It's
is-
so cool. And I was just like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you, man. It's so cool." But yeah, that's the most recent.
Good encounter.
Yeah.
Good idea. Bad
I
idea.
should have asked him a question.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't ask him something just completely off the wall. Like, how was it with Dave? Is Dave making a comeback? Which apparently he is.
I saw he's got this Netflix special coming out
Yeah.
in March.
Yeah, that's a multi-million-dollar deal, isn't it?
I think he's got a series of 3, if I heard correctly.
Yeah, 3 specials, I think.
for Netflix. So it'll be good to have him back in the comedy game.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's like Icarus. He flies too close to the sun. Honestly, you think
Yeah.
about what Chappelle's show was. It was so funny, and he was able to talk about those uncomfortable subjects in such a way that people still talk about those
Right.
to this day.
Yeah.
That you can't think about Prince without thinking about Chappelle.
Yeah,
You know,
pancakes.
with-
I love it. Lake Minnetonka.
Game of blouses.
Yeah, no, those. I mean, he really stood at that time when I was really watching a lot of that kind of material. That stood out the most, and it's still to this day. People still talk about it, and then they're like, "What happened?" He dropped off the face of the earth. He disappeared.
Well, it's like, what else can you do? And he couldn't do a stand-up anymore. I mean, that's how a comedian stays fresh.
Yeah.
Is you're doing stand-up. Is you're out and you're constantly in those little
touring.
smoky clubs and you're touring and you're out and you're testing out new material and things like that. And I think that's when camera phones too started to become really prevalent around that time too.
Yeah.
But then he'd go do stand-up shows and all people wanted to do was do Rick James, do.
Yeah, they want the same things
they
over
want
and
the same
over.
things. Well, you saw this shit on TV already.
You got it on DVD. It's on Blu-ray now.
Wait for the next genius to come out, because that's in there. This guy is brilliant. This guy is incredibly talented. You're sitting there trying to direct how this great comedian is going to work. It's just I don't need this crap, and backs out of it, which is a bummer for us. Because if that show was still on, I bet you'd still be number one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
But wasn't there something that he said that he felt that he was giving himself too much part of the industry? He was trying to be an idol for his kids, and his kids were already sort of seeing the same way that he was being portrayed in society, and it started touching a lot of those subjects. But at that point, that's when he just decided to walk away from everything and just be more of a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
Well, and you have guys that step out. I always have been curious about what happened to guys like Rick Moranis, who is a great.
Didn't they shrink him?
Yeah.
At some point.
He very well could be in this room.
Yeah.
And you wonder what happened, but I guess his wife died, and so he
geez.
decided to be a stay-at-home dad and raise his kids. I mean, not like he needed any more money.
No. He had a good run
with everything that he was doing. So you have that sometimes. There's a lot of pressure that comes in the entertainment industry, especially when you're always striving for the next and striving for the next, and it's almost an industry unto itself. You take an artist like a Carrie Underwood, who herself is going to command $400,000-$600,000 every single time that she sets foot on any stage in this country. On top of that, you've got your ticket sales that are happening with that. You've got your concession sales, your merchandise, your entire traveling crew that goes. So it's basically just an entire traveling economy that goes with these. And so that's a lot of pressure. If you think that, a big touring show, a national touring show, a Lady Gaga type thing, you've got probably 400 to 1,000 people whose livelihood depends on you making it to that stage. And then your thousands of people that bought tickets just because they like you and like your music.
Yeah.
That's a ton of pressure.
Of course.
The way you describe it, it's almost like having the presidential entourage just follow you around. So.
It's crazy.
Well, that's how it is. I mean, that's a lot like WWE in a sense, where they're just like a big traveling circus, and they pick where WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania's in Florida this year, so I mean that's huge for that city. They've got to scramble, get all the licenses together, get all that stuff ready. I mean, because there's going to be tons of people traveling out of state just to go and see this act, this show, whatever, and whoever it is. And then, of course, they're willing to spend money to stay there, and then they're willing to spend more money to buy merchandise.
They're buying merch, they're buying food, they're entertainment while they're there. A lot of people will make it an extra trip. Like, I'm not just flying in for a Sunday night event. I'm going to stay for a couple more days and go check out Daytona Beach, go get a Cuban sandwich.
Yeah. It's like, what's that sandwich? Cuban sandwich, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's intense when you think about all the components in the event.
Ham, pickles, and mustard. It's like, it's really good. Again, it's coming from the fat guy here. There's a Cuban food truck here in town, Elsa's Paladar, and they have a killer Cuban sandwich. So
really?
If you see them around, definitely.
Were they at Stock Market? They were.
You should check them out. That Cuban sandwich.
I think I one of the Stock Markets I went, but something I didn't know if it was open or not. There was just a lady there with a table, and they had forgotten something, or he got there late, or he was parked in the street where Baskin Robbins was. He actually wasn't it. So I was like, I'm not sure what's going on. Like I need some direction. So I ended up going just to get the food from the next truck over, which was they're from Lodi, a movable feast. Fantastic stuff.
They're good. I know the family. I'm good friends with one of the sons. So their
garlic fries are on point.
Gosh,
and
man,
that shrimp
reeking to high hell.
That shrimp sandwich too.
But yeah, the shrimp sandwich was really good.
Yeah. No, and that's coming, right? April, Stock Market. It's on the horizon.
All those outdoor markets are going to start popping up. The farmers market over on downtown here is going to have all those different vendors popping around the corner too.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So I saw they moved the farmers market, the downtown one. So they've moved it to a couple different locations. Is it over on Main Street now? Is that?
It's in front of the big brown Chase Bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 400 East Main.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. We were looking at doing that for a long time. We kept getting roadblocks when I was working for the DSA. So it's good that they finally got that there. I mean, people like that. You've got a ton of people that are downtown. Any given day in downtown, you've got 20 to 25,000 people. So put a good farmer's market in front of them.
Yeah, I mean, you look for little key things like that, like the pastry shop on the corner that was recently Macronage, which is now
La Dulce Vita.
Yeah, it's turned into that, but there's nothing like that. I was talking with the DSA, are they open? Are they not? Well, they're in transition, they're rebranding, but still, people there's if they're looking for something a little. Like a cupcake or something like that. There's nothing you can get downtown like that. You can't go into Subway and just take a cookie.
Have you tried their cannolis?
I haven't yet.
Oh my god! If you're looking for a sugar overload, I'm just saying
you might want to split that in half.
Yeah. One of those you're just laying sprawled out in the chair after your sugar high. Looking like Homer Simpson. That's too funny.
That's good.
Well, that's good, man. I love those. And I think you're starting to kind of reintroduce and see some of that entrepreneurial spirit where people open up a bakery. Like, they'll take the risk, and it's dirt cheap to have a business downtown.
Yeah.
You can find affordable space.
We've seen that with the Deliberation Room recently. He had the law office across the street, found an opportunity to get the building across from him, and was like, we'll try the bar restaurant thing.
Well, actually, he had apparently had a booth or doing something at the farmer's market. He had like a little pop-up like food thing, so he was already preparing food for a while.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
Awesome.
Because they went right on it. Like, I came in one day and they already had a menu out. They got paninis, they've got flatbreads, some salad, soup, something like that.
Yeah, that was the year before he actually opened. They were at the farmer's market always. I'm not sure if they had a truck or just an outdoor sort of table set up, but Yeah, he'd been doing food for a while. Maybe a nice hobby.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things going on
A
downtown.
lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's good to see that. It gives you a different influx of businesses than you typically see anywhere else. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's good that people you can aim small and miss small. It's not like you're making a $500,000 investment, you know, because then your
Right.
house is on the line, your mom's house is on the line.
Yeah.
It's a big.
It's a lot on the line.
It's a lot. You know, speaking of pressure, like we were talking about, you know, so you know, that's good.
Yeah, the entrepreneurs, I think movement's really grown since I've kind of been around downtown. And then we've seen that with Huddle, right? We saw them, of course, move from North San Joaquin Street just up a block or two.
Yeah.
Now it's got like its whole dedicated floor for entrepreneurs, filling up slowly.
No, actually, they're almost full.
They're almost full.
Yeah, I was speaking to Matt last week, and he's selling spots left and right. I think they only have like 5 offices left.
Wow,
No
that's
kidding.
really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's a good get for somebody it's because it's difficult, right? Like when you start a business and you're working from home, there's too many distractions and you have an idea and you've got things set in place and there's just way too many things going on. And it's like, I need somewhere else to work, you know?
Yeah.
I can't just work at the library or, you know, so you have that space that Huddle provides with your own little office or like the co-working area. And then of course it's great because you can bounce ideas off with other business owners. Well, I did this, maybe you want to try that. Or maybe they know about something, filling out certain forms, talking with a contact, and then...
Or they even probably bring in some food that you didn't even know about.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd you get that from?
Hey, well, got that alfalfa's pizza, right?
I'm sorry, my pizza's still permeating.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
No, please help yourself.
Yeah.
Don't let us stop you.
Yeah.
That sharing of information is so important. I think that's a big change you're seeing in the generation that's just come, because it used to be, man, I'm not sharing. I've worked so hard to get this, and you know, if I share this information, somebody else is going to try and take what I've got. And that sharing of information, I think, is such a key thing, because it's like, if there are pitfalls or there's booby traps somewhere along the line of you starting your own business, if someone can help you out so that you can avoid that puts you so far ahead. And I'm glad to see that mindset changing of, well, I can't succeed if they're successful.
Right.
It's that mindset changing to, if they succeed, if we succeed, we all succeed.
Right.
And that's a good thing. And that's what Huddle's doing a great job with, is that you don't want to sit there and say that, you know, someone's just hoarding all this information that they've gone through already. You know, share the wealth.
Yeah, just got to be in a better community mindset at that point.
We were just talking about that in the office. Speaking of upcoming entrepreneurs, this guy came from the Huddle too. Like, now he's got his own office.
he was pointing, I know, for people that can't see.
Yeah, he's pointing at Pedro. I mean, he could be pointing at the pizza.
Yeah, right. I wasn't talking.
You know, I mean, pizza's on the come up.
I mean, when this pizza started, it was just flour and water, and here we are.
And here we are.
Tomato sauce, and now just
A little bit of salt.
It's really coming. Oh yeah, like that. Yeah. So where is that from? I've seen this. Is that from King of the Hill?
What, the salt bit
Yeah,
guy?
yeah.
No.
Isn't
Okay,
it
so
some
it's this
Italian?
Turkish. It's this Turkish guy. That he's a restaurateur, owns a restaurant, and so he puts out these YouTube videos. But he's very enthusiastic, I guess, about the meat. Like, he slaps at it. So you watch his videos, and then he does the salt. He like puts his arm up like he's doing like a little like bird thing, and like lets it trickle off his forearm onto the food, so it just looks insanely ridiculous.
So we get some sweat too. We get a little hair.
Yeah, you get a little bit of the Turkish flavor on top of it.
that's a secret. That's
Special sauce.
Oh God, this is great. What did you do? Well, you know, just kind of did this hand motion with these spices and salt.
So, anyways, it's become a hilarious meme. I'm just like, I'm always looking forward to the
I've
next
seen
one.
it, and I thought for some reason I was thinking King of the Hill, but maybe they just made one of the characters from King of the Hill do something like that, and then that's where see like how fast that adopts and like becomes now. Of course, we're trending memes. Everything's a meme now, and they're all from pop culture, right? They're all like from different places. This YouTube guy, you know, something from The Simpsons. I've been seeing this thing on YouTube. So they have they take clips from The Simpsons, and somebody has some kind of beat to it, like some kind of electronic beat that's in the background. And then, but the way they've edited the video is through the clips, they make it look like an old VCR recording with the You know how you know how it looks like with the clipping and the camera symbol and everything, and so it's all psychedelic, and it's so you're just kind of like what am I watching? Like I'm watching weird clips of Homer doing certain things to this weird sad beat, like, and it's got kind of depressing. I was like, I'm gonna have to pause and turn this off. I'm gonna start crying. It's like so bad, but like now like the stuff like that trends so fast. They always pick up on something and then they just try and blow it up as fast as they can, whether they're doing it through YouTube, different forums, or Twitter. And I know you're pretty active on Twitter.
I love the Twitter.
I know you love the Twitter.
I love the Twitter. I warn people. I'm like, if I'm watching Kings basketball, like,
that's when it gets intense. I notice.
Yes.
Like your times when the Kings start playing, to when we're done with game's over with. We've got like a whole highlight reel on Twitter. Like you could probably snapshot a good maybe 50 tweets probably from you in that time frame.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not tweeting. I'm not tweeting nearly that much. No. Especially anymore because they're garbage. It's almost too depressing.
Is it
depressing to watch?
How are the Kings doing?
Oh, they're terrible. They're terrible. They just traded away their best player. Their ownership group is a mess again because Sacramento will never have a good ownership group. So they're depressing to watch.
All this after the brand new Golden One arena and everything.
Yeah, and I think that's going to start to be a problem too. Is you had a lot of people. I was watching a little bit of the game yesterday. You had a lot of people, probably about 5,000 people that dressed up as empty seats last night, and that's going to be a problem if you're not. The city has banked and spent $250, $300 million against future bond payments through parking that they're going to have people here. Well, if people aren't going to the games, then people aren't paying for parking, and then your bondholder is not getting their money for it. And so it's kind of a big problem that with the Kings ownership group in major disarray, that you got gifted $300 million in public funds, and this is the product that you're putting out on the floor. Like, there's just no game plan or no set idea that we're doing this and we're sticking with this going forward. And so, that's going to be a problem because I think you can talk about how great the Golden One Center is, how it's new, it's most technologically advanced. The problem is you need to get people to go. Yeah. And if you can't get people to go because the number one tenant, the team that puts 50 events on per year in that building, is drawing at 2/3 or 75% capacity, that's a problem.
Yeah.
The money's just not going to add up.
Yeah, I mean the Sacramento Kings are supposed to be the big game in town, and I'm sure there's other artists that are coming through there now that are actually drawing higher.
The artists are doing great. The concerts are all doing very well, but Sacramento again is also kind of a victim of its own success, that it doesn't know where it falls in the spectrum of things. Like, is this a great California city, or is this like that needs to be compared to the San Franciscos and Los Angeleses of the world, or is this just the biggest city in the valley? That we need to look at Sacramento as kind of the capital, the state capital. It's on its own island and things like that. And what's happened is you have this new soccer team, the Sacramento Republic, that's shown up. They've done a great job getting out. The Kings have done a good job getting out in the community too, but the Sacramento Republic have done a great job of putting a good product out on the field. And so they sell out their stadium. They've got 8,000 seats, and they sell that out like no problem.
And they're in the Golden One?
No, they're in over, another. What's it? Bonnie Field is over. It's over by Cal Expo. Yeah, but they're talking about potentially, eventually, that becoming a Major League Soccer team, and maybe putting a soccer stadium at the old rail yards up there in Sacramento. Wow. And then you're talking about a 30,000 seat stadium, and every time the soccer team plays at Hornet Stadium with Sac State, and their capacity is about 20,000, they sell out. Yeah. Every single time. So if they were to play in the bigger venue, that they would get the tickets sold. And is Sacramento that market that can support 2 professional franchises, or 3 if you count the River Cats? The River Cats are always doing very well. They're a Giants affiliate. So, are they a city? And Sacramento, the Kings at least now are bringing up the rear. They're the least successful. They're the most embarrassing. Their ownership group is snipping at each other. They can't figure out what they want to do with their players.
Has that always been that way for the Kings? I mean,
always.
I feel like even back when I was watching when Richmond was there and we had some better players, they were still struggling.
So Jim Thomas was an LA-based owner of the Kings, and he was a small part owner, and then became a majority owner of the team. But he was just raking in the money. I mean, he didn't need to put in with the television deal and revenue sharing. He didn't need to really spend money to put a good product out there. And then he decided to cash out, and I think he fell on some financial troubles and sold it to the Maloof brothers. And the Maloof brothers blew onto the scene. They owned a liquor distributor in New Mexico. They owned a lot of locals casinos in Las Vegas area, so those are kind of the casinos that more of the Las Vegas residents would go to, not necessarily tourist-based residents would go. So they happened to, at the same time, coincide with the Kings dumbly lucking into landing some very good players that they traded away Mitch Richmond, they got Chris Webber, they signed Vlade Divac because he wanted to be back in California, and they finally got Peja Stojakovic to come over from Greece. And so all of a sudden they got Jason Williams, who put down the joint long enough and showed everybody that he was a great, he was a great
I can play. I really can.
Yeah. You can do it. I or not. I'm like, I don't care. Give the guy the ball.
Yeah.
And so then the team took off, and that's when they made the playoffs for 7 years in a row, and they were winning 60 games a year, and they were a fun team to watch. Weber got hurt. The Maloofs decided to double down and open up this, at the time, $2 billion casino called the Palms. And then the economy tanked. Absolutely tanked. So they lost their ass on that. They sold their distributorship, and then they became literally the cash poorest owners in the NBA. So they had to make all these moves to basically just any income that the family was making was just off the team. And that puts you into a bad spot too.
Yeah.
So they needed to sell, and the Maloofs were basically wanting to sell to the highest bidder that they could, and so they were shopping around other cities, Virginia Beach, on the East Coast, Anaheim, Seattle, anywhere but Sacramento that they were looking at. And Kevin Johnson, who's the mayor of Sacramento at the time, really put forward a plan to build this, to put an ownership group together and build this brand new arena. And so he does. He gets his ownership group together, but again, he doesn't come with necessarily any whales per se.
Yeah.
He comes with a bunch of minnows that swim together to look like a whale.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you've got the majority owner of the controlling president of the team only owns 20% of the team. And you've got a bunch of people that own a $1 million stake in the team here and there. I mean, you've probably got 100, 150 people in that ownership group.
Wow.
So, I mean, and when you're talking about people that have that kind of capital, that kind of personal capital, you're dealing with a lot of alpha personalities. But also when you're on the cusp, like you're not that billionaire yet.
Yeah.
You're a millionaire, you're successful, your family's successful, you don't need to do anything for the rest of your life. And then, like, the difference between the millionaires, their mindset's very different. So, they're sitting there just still trying to claw on, get up to the next level because they're not satisfied. You should always be striving to be better, but that leads to a lot of infighting. So here we are with a team that's just it's stuck in a perennial rut.
Yeah, large dysfunctional family.
It is.
Yeah.
And for the fans that spent a ton of money to go buy tickets, a lot of them are upset. They bought season tickets and were hoping for something. The team keeps making curious moves and throwing people under the bus, and it's a madhouse of chaos. I love the Kings.
Yeah.
I mean, it's chaotic.
And who would have thought the Warriors have been doing really well? Where I thought the Warriors were in that spot, where the Kings were.
Yeah.
So many years ago, where they had all the working parts and they were really struggling, and then now look, like
it's chemistry has a lot to do with it. A solid front office has a lot to do with it. The Kings have gone through 2 general managers in running their team, and I'm sure within probably the next year they'll probably be on their 3rd. And with the Warriors have had the same one. They made a very unpopular decision by trading away one of their guards because he didn't get along with Steph Curry. And imagine in Monte Ellis, and imagine what had happened if they had actually banked on, well, Monte's given us 20 points a game. Steph's only given us, 16, and he's always rolling his ankle. So let's roll with Monte, and we'll just give Steph Curry away. Where would that team be right now?
Yeah, exactly.
So they bet on the right guy, and it turned out to be a great move.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Warriors also happen to benefit from a lot of Kings stupidity. The King, in the draft too, the Warriors ended up with Klay Thompson. The Kings easily could have had him, but they drafted Jimmer Fredette out of BYU. The Kings, you look at this and say the Kings could have had this guy or this guy or this guy, and who they ended up picking, 2/3 of those picks aren't even with the team anymore. So
Yeah.
I didn't mean to make this all sports centric.
No.
But in the terms of talking about the arena and the financial impact, there is an economic impact to having a venue like that in your downtown.
Right.
So you've got restaurants that open up, businesses
Yeah.
that open up, and kind of in Stockton, what's been the issue is that while the arena is still downtown, it's far enough removed from the core that there's not tons of opportunity for development that you can sit there and say, okay, we'll go out and we'll have dinner. So a lot of those people end up visiting like the Mile or Lincoln Center before they go downtown. And I think that might change. You've got like a great Italian restaurant at Bella Vista.
Yeah, Bella Vista.
That just opened up at the old French 25 spot. And people will come.
Yeah.
Bob Hope Theater events, even for events that are not necessarily hugely attended, like the classic movie series, people show up early and they'll have lunch at one of the spots downtown and go. So it drives that people will go. If you have an event, people will go. And so it's just those numbers need to add up. If you're having 50 of the same event, you've got to be able to consistently draw, and I think that's where the Kings are going to run into a lot of trouble.
Right, and we were seeing that. Like I was seeing that a lot. Just like when I went to Stockton Con last year, there's a lot of people that were just kind of having like a conversation. Like, you can easily just move in and out of there once you've got your ticket and got your bracelet stamp, everything like that. And it's like, all right, break time. Where do we go? And you overhear people thinking like, they're not from here. Yeah. Like they have no clue, or they didn't get to visit Stockton Guide or whatever. And I was just like, hey, there's like a lot of great places to eat just right a few blocks away. You have
but a lot of people still have the notion that downtown has like gangs on each corner and it's like chains and
that's what's crazy, because that's a perception I've had to fight every job I've had. And me, I've worked downtown now for too long. 7+ years. 7, almost 8 years now. And part of that problem is that I put out a report when I was with the DSA that talked about crime numbers in downtown Stockton.
And I've seen it.
Crime is actually significantly lower in downtown Stockton. Now, part of that has to do with hardly anybody lives downtown. But the fact of the matter is that it's just that perception. And part of that perception, unfortunately, comes that there still hasn't been a big answer or solution to what to do about the huge homeless.
And that was the big thing.
So people associate homelessness with crime, and they see a guy pushing a cart, and they're like, okay, that guy's breaking into every single car window.
Yeah,
that's not necessarily the case. There's probably a good chance that either this is a guy who has just fallen through the cracks of the system. He's addiction, or he's got some sort of mental disability that's just not necessarily covered through some sort of state or federal program or anything. So this was the last option for them, and so it's not necessarily that case, but it's a terrible perception to fight. Is that people just assume, okay, there's a homeless guy, crime is
Well, it's sort of funny, just because in the last few years it's actually gone down a lot. There's not as many homeless walking around. The bike cops and even DSA are really good at moving out. I mean, it does suck that happens, but it's something that more, I think the fact that people see downtown as unsafe is because there's so many empty and abandoned buildings.
Absolutely.
Right.
Where now a lot of business is starting to move in. Even the Kendall building, that was slated to actually have an entire restaurant and co-working space, offices. I mean, it's something that we're probably like 2 years away from like any major, especially with even 10 Spaces project over across from the RTD. Once that goes in, that'll have a lot of not low income, just affordable housing, along with all of the metro building itself being finally put to use, so it's not an abandoned building.
Right.
I mean, this is a great building. Like, there are a lot of great buildings downtown. I think one of the things that really hurt downtown in talking about the abandoned buildings is that you have a lot of people that are land banking. They basically bought these properties dirt cheap. They got them in a foreclosure or in a bankruptcy proceeding, however it is that they ended up with it. And they're basically just doing the bare minimum possible until somebody comes in and says, we want to develop this, and then all of a sudden their property value skyrockets and they can cash out.
Right.
And Sacramento had that huge problem too on K Street, is you had a bunch of scumbags that were just land banking. They bought the building, they had no intention of doing anything. It was going to sit there, a storefront on that beautiful stretch of K Street. It was going to sit boarded up right there by the light rail, right down the street from the new arena. Not going to do a dang thing about it until somebody came in and said, well, we want to put an apartment complex here, we want to put a hotel here, and we're looking at 10,000 square feet of retail here. So all of a sudden, that property that he got for $10,000 30 years ago in a bankruptcy or in a foreclosure auction, he ends up selling for $3 million. And so that's why you have a lot of people that are sitting there doing that. And it's tough because you do want to start building that synergy where it's, you've got a lot of city-owned properties that are here in the downtown area. You've got a lot of private family trust-owned properties that are here. You'd love to be able to get entrepreneurs in here, or somebody that's willing to take that risk, like the guy that bought the Kendall building. Like I think if I recall correctly, he's a Bay Area guy who ended up just getting a screaming deal on this, and he's planning on renovating it floor by floor. That's what you want. Because it's just going to sit there. Yeah. Another year is another year worse. Another year that you have the chance to add more regulations to make it more expensive to do that. It's tough. So it's good. You want to encourage that kind of spirit.
Exactly. Sort of funny. There was another person that even bought that old hotel that's by the Human Services Building down in Sutter. What did he spend? Like $20,000 for it, and it's $25,000. Yeah, $25,000. A young guy, like he bought it, and it's something that he himself is actually going in and renovating it. And it's
the Henry apartment?
Yeah, the Henry apartment.
Alexander, I forgot his last name, but his first name's Alexander.
I've actually noticed that they finally started doing murals on the outside of that little tunnel safety thing. So they're doing it. It's a little by little, and I know as the area starts getting better, just by people taking those risks and actually buying abandoned property and fixing them up. I mean, even with the Liberation Room, how that spot really didn't have anything and it was dead. I mean, no one would walk down there. But as more people, even with the Kendall building opening up, with the Medco Tower opening up, these are areas of town that there is no life. Where hopefully a year or two from now that'll be different.
And it's crazy. I'm trying to think of who it was that did was it the Urban Land Institute? I think that did a big study like 15 years ago, and then redid another one like 5 years ago. That talked about basically the opportunities for downtown, what you can do in downtown Stockton. And one of the things they noted was that downtown Stockton has more vacant lot space in its downtown district than any other downtown in California. That there's a lot of stuff that's actually just, if you did not want to renovate a building, that you could actually put a shovel in the ground and start building up because of just how much flat. And you think about it, how many auto dealerships are on Minor Street, or how many buildings that have been burned down and so torn down. They're just flat, empty space for it. You've got just a ton of opportunity for it.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. Downtown's really hustling and bustling, man. It's coming to life, and it's good. Like my grandparents, when they were here, there's like some old photos of my grandmother walking the streets in downtown years ago. And it was a totally different place. A lot of artists would come through here. A lot of popular names, musicians would come and perform here in Stockton. They'd just kind of come through, play, and then move on to the next city. But downtown Stockton was a spot for them.
Stockton had a lot of old theaters, and that was kind of the Hollywood North to exaggerate a little bit. But it was with those theaters when that was the entertainment. Stockton had just a lot of the great old theaters. The only one that's left is the Bob Hope, but that used to be the spot, and artists would come through. And they were coming to Northern California. This is the spot that they would come through.
Yeah.
So is the courthouse still set to be demolished? The old one, that is. Or is that an eyesore?
So they're battling about that. I think the DA's office doesn't want it to be torn down because they've got their offices still over in that building for it. Part of the reason that they gave up Weber Square to build a new courthouse is they said that the old courthouse would get demolished and they'd put a open public space, a park, or redo the fountain, whatever the case may be. But it's supposed to be as part of the agreement for it. And so it's a little interesting too because this is the first courthouse that's not owned by the county. It's a state-owned courthouse. Every courthouse that Stockton has had has been owned by San Joaquin County, and this one's owned by the state. So it's a little different working between the two groups on that, so we'll see. I think they've pushed back at least the timeline of when they're going to demolish the old one. I mean, sure, they probably need the office space, but man, that is one of the ugliest buildings in town. It's just an homage to the 70s, man. No windows.
I used to work actually going in there every day, 5 days a week as a legal courier, and you're lucky if the elevators worked all week long. I mean, you're taking the stairs today. Oh, kill me. Air conditioning, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fans, ceiling
Yeah.
fans. Oh, yeah.
So bad.
It's
So
horrible.
it'll be nice when the new ones finally open. That one was a process to get open, but yeah, it'll be nice. So that's kind of, they're hoping, and a lot of the advocates that were kind of appeased about losing Weber Square and the fountain there were appeased that the city would at least make it right by having that open space that's currently occupied by the old courthouse. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, I know you got to scoot.
Have we talked that long already?
We have. I'm looking at the clock, and your time is ticking, buddy. I know Father Time's like, hey, we need you back.
Yeah, I got to get back before midnight or turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah, it's always good to have you, man.
Well,
Every week, Metro Sessions with Chris the Greek.
Well, it's good to catch up, and I'm glad that we had our guest here enjoying some pizza and
Yeah,
Yep. Still
some
finishing it.
some coffee, and everything's great.
I feel like we kind of shamed him into not eating his pizza, and I feel a little bit bad. And eating some cold pizza.
Amazingly, I got the hottest one that was on the plate. Like it
Mhm.
literally just came out of the oven. It was still boiling. I'm like, okay, it's gonna last a little while.
That's the one. That's the one I want.
He's got some time, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's perfect.
I love it. And you know what? We did it in one take again.
Yeah, I know. Always one day. Yeah, no breaks, or maybe some breaks. Maybe we'll give people a break. What do you think?
Oh,
5 minutes, 10
I think
minutes.
they like listening to your sultry voice. So.
No.
You're actually allowed to like take a break and use the bathroom and everything.
No, not that kind of break. I meant like sound bites.
Yeah.
You know, Brian wanted little sound bites of us doing some break stuff. Maybe you got a little bit of time.
Yeah, I got a couple of minutes.
All right.
I think it'd be hilarious though if we start once we start getting sponsors in here. We can just walk right into the courthouse totally could use this fresh toothpaste.
Yeah.
You won't believe how whitening it is.
Mhm.
I'm kidding.
I just name dropped Alfalfa today.
Alfalfa.
He gave me the free pizza. It's like, oh, I hear Ben's recording up there. Here.
Yeah, here you go. You want to try some pizza? Then when we start getting bigger, then we're getting like boxes to our house. Like, have you tried the Dollar Shave Club? I really love the shaving cream butter that comes with it. It's like I use it every week, and you should too.
It's amazing when you're dealing with a woolly beard like this.
Actually, I was going to ask you, do you ever subscribe or get any of those things? You do?
Yeah,
Like, which
Dollar
ones
Shave
do you get?
Dollar Shave Club.
Is it really good?
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. So
just because I'm like my beard is so thick, I tear through razors, so I can't sit there and justify buying the refills for what is it like $25 for 4 razors or whatever it is. It's criminal. It's criminal. So I love that and the aspect of this is total market disruption. That you had somebody that went in there and said, I can still be exceptionally profitable selling this guy, sending him 4 razors a month for $7. I can still be mind-numbingly profitable.
Mm-hmm.
Just not as profitable as this idiot that put his name on the side of an NFL stadium, but still, and it's a good product. I'm like, I'm not going to know just because I'm going to use them a couple of times, and then the things are going to be dull as.
Yeah, and then by that time you get the next box coming through.
So essentially, isn't this just the same going into the dollar store and just buying a 7-pack and just like single?
Well, what's the quality on these bad boys?
I mean, they're good. I mean, the quality is really good on it. I would put it next to like the Gillette stuff that I've used in the past.
Okay.
2 blades?
So it's 3 blades.
3 blades.
Wow.
Well, you can pick, right? There's like 3 different
so,
tiers.
The basic one, I think the one that is $1 is just basic dual blade. The one I get is the mid-tier one. It's like 3. And then they have a higher tier one. I think it's like $11 a month or something like that, and it's got like 15 blades. No, it's got like 4 blades.
15 blades. There we go. Yeah, I mean, but they've got Loot Crate stuff for everything now.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can get snacks, you can get food delivered to your house, stuff for your pets.
Snacks, food, clothing items. I mean, the clothing items I think are kind of an interesting way to go. It's like you can get like a pair of shoes, pants, a sweater, and all that delivered to your
DVDs,
house.
toys.
A new client that I'm working with actually wants to have care packages style that they're all Japanese, Asian style food. So that's something that I'm working with right now. So they want to be able to deliver that.
That's
to
awesome.
places all in downtown. So,
Yeah, I think that's great.
That's awesome.
Good
there
fit.
you go. There's another one.
Yeah, perfect.
Keep it going.
Keep it going.
All right, so until next week.
Yeah, for you next week. We might stick around and do a little bit more without you, but
So wait a minute. When it's over, do you guys like jump up and do like a little like
give me a high five. What is this? The Waynes brothers?
We usually chest bump.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Slap ass.
So.
Yeah, on the way out.
All right. Well, you guys have fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's great. We'll see you.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is...
Okay, so tell me again about the hash bar.
Okay, what you want to know?
Hash is legal there, right?
Yeah, it's legal, but it ain't 100% legal. I mean, you just can't walk into a restaurant, roll the joint, and start puffing away. I mean, they want you to smoke in your home or certain designated places.
And those are hash bars.
Yeah, it breaks down like this, okay. It's legal to buy it, it's legal to own it, and if you're the proprietor of a hash bar, it's legal to sell it. It's legal to carry it, but that doesn't matter, because get a load of this, all right? If you get stopped by a cop in Amsterdam, it's illegal for them to search you. I mean, that's a right that cops in Amsterdam don't have.
Oh, man.
With your face on it. Yeah. And then next year I'll see you and you're not even Chris K anymore. You had to rebrand again.
I'm like, oh man, that big F-bomb I dropped on the podcast. I had to rebrand.